So this question was, how do I do different bullet physics? And so I have a couple things to show you in this one. Um, I started this project, so there's a little bit that's already been done. I created a 2D Unity project. I'm going to change my background, my camera. And I also have my little guy that I put in here. This component from before. And so this is just a sprite. There's nothing really special about it. The other thing that I did is I added a rock, this little rock thing, that, or cave hill, whatever it's called, to our scene. These are more glitch assets. And I added a rigid body and a circle collider to it. That's all. And then I dragged it down into our assets to create a prefab, because this is going to become the bullet that we shoot. And so it needs to have some physics associated with it, and but it also doesn't need to be in our scene, because, so I'm going to delete it out of here, because since we have the prefab down here, we're going to create instances of this whenever the user presses the spacebar. So I'm going to create a C# script, and we can call it, I don't know, shoot bullet. And I'm going to attach it to my red creature, and then we'll double click to edit it. And inside of here is going to be our script that shoots the bullet. Now, the first thing that we're going to need to do is check for a key press. So we'll just look for when the user presses the keyboard, the spacebar down. So if input.get key down, key code.space, we'll fire a bullet. And then down here, we'll make our function to fire the bullet. And we will do that here. So let's look at what we have in our bullet. It has only a rigid body and a circle collider. So what we want to do is we want to instantiate this bullet and then add a force to it. And that's the idea. And then as we add different forces to it, we will make the bullet go in different directions, or faster or slower, or whatever it is. So we need to be able to get a reference to this. So we need to know what we want to instantiate. So let's have a public game object bullet. That way we can do something with that. So here's our guy. We have this public game object bullet, and I'm going to drag in the prefab of that bullet. And then now inside of bullet, we can create one. So we can do something like instantiate, and it wants to know, what are we instantiating? Well, instantiate a bullet. And where are we going? Let's just instantiate it right where we're at. Transform dot position. And then the rotation, we'll just say quaternion dot identity. We don't need to rotate this thing to start with. And this is going to create a bullet. So let's run it and see what happens. And so this bullet is just falling. And we have things that we need to clean up, like all this stuff, all these clones. And if we look at our scene, you know, the bullet is falling, and all of these things are still out there, and we're not cleaning up after ourselves. But that's okay. We're going to worry about all of that in another day. Right now, we don't really care about cleaning up after ourselves. What we want to do is to be able to get different bullet physics. And right now, it's just dropping. So what we want to do is add a force to this bullet. And we can't do it right now because we don't have a reference to it. This is actually, this line right here is creating a new instance of an object. And since we didn't save it off in anything, we can't do anything with it. So I'll just say game object bullet, how about just B, equals, and then we'll cast it to a game object like that. So now when we do that, we can do whatever we want to do to this bullet, and we want to get a hold of the rigid body 2D and add a force to it. So we can say b dot get component rigid body 2D dot add force, and we're going to add a force in 2D, so we'll say new vector 2. We can just say, how about 100 in the x and 100 in the y. And now when we run, what's going to happen? There it goes. So now it's got more of an arc to it. Still probably not right. And the idea is, well, maybe it is, but the idea is we want to make different, be able to easily change the physics for it. And so if I make another public vector 2, oops, let's say bullet speed, and then we're going to be able to change this bullet speed from inside of Unity to modify it. So we'll add force in the bullet speed direction, and we have this bullet speed over here. So now I can say 100, and how about 300? Just making up numbers. And then when I go, now it's making an arc like that. I can increase our x. And now it's more like this. We can make x 500. And now it's really, now we're starting to really launch it. I mean, we can even make it more. And we're throwing stuff very quickly. If we want to go up, we can do that as well. And there you go. So now you can have anything that when you're shooting it, you can have the speed associated with it. You can even make different prefabs that have the bullet speed included already, so that when you shoot it, it will already know how fast you want it to go. Or you can just tell it how fast it's supposed to go every time you shoot it by doing it this way. So yeah, you can have an array of these bullet speeds, or you could add another script and attach it to your bullet prefab that holds the values for the velocity. That way when you shoot it, you know how fast it can go, and different types of bullets can go at different speeds. So that's how you can have different physics on different bullets.